Hello Gemini, this is your January 2019 eclipse reading. Even though the lunar eclipse has passed, some of the energy may still be affecting you. And so we are just going to check in. And this will be the last reading before February. Not too much going on in February. I will have to check the events. I think there's a little bit of activity with Mercury, and that's really it. So let us have a quick check-in and see how things are looking for you. Gemini, one moment, please. Gemini, looks like you are resting after a situation that changed you a bit, tested you. Gave you some pause, introspection. Either brought some things out from your past, maybe pushed some buttons with you. A bit of, this could have been a heartache, it could have been, again, just something around a sensitivity. Something I think that made you feel isolated or remote. This could have been family, this could have been something around custody issues, this could have been something around feeling just isolated from family. Maybe you were away at school, maybe an argument with family, something that just made you feel isolated and touched off some things that could have potentially been self-damaging. And again, I think this could have even been around the holidays. This could have been in December. If not, this could be upcoming around the next quarter moon, but something that really made you feel isolated and someone really touched off an issue with you. They may have been questioning choices that you made, maybe career choices, again, if you were in college. Maybe even a mother saying you should have come home or should consider it. Again, you may have felt that you were really working hard. Maybe feeling as if your efforts were not being taken into account. Maybe deciding you wanted to change majors. Maybe as, yeah, it looks, I know this is very specific. I have to I did have to take a moment to address it. This does look, for some, this is specifically regarding school. or a job, you did decide that you were going to take a different path. Right, this would be for a student for some. This would have been a complete divergence from what you were considering. Maybe agriculture, marine biology, something regarding environmental sciences. And maybe you had switched over from something to do with, maybe you were in to be a doctor, or something in that line that was more of a traditional sort of science. And I think, oh, I see. So maybe even you met, you may have even had a romance with someone, and this may have swayed your decision in terms of what you wanted to do. You may have just been enlightened by someone you met. And this changed your perspective. There may be a concern that you will make no money doing this. So there may be a conversation about, were you lured into this decision by, you know, because you really wanted to make it? Will you wind up broke? This could be some Pisces energy. This how would this new major, or how would this new path test you? Would you actually, I think there's sort of a doubt about, would you have the resilience to take this on? And I think now there may be a question in your mind, maybe creating some doubt about whether you do or do not have the energy. I think that card wants to come out. Let's just take it. So this now becomes a very sensitive battle, especially if you are a student. You are depending on your parents for money to some extent or another. If this is strictly a romantic issue, you still may be wanting to embark on some type of new venture, and you may be encountering doubt from a spouse, from a child who is an adult. And I think there is still some doubt about whether you will be able to achieve this goal or not. This in turn may be setting off some childhood issues or insecurities that you have, Gemini. These may be very touchy issues that they are setting off. And it may be making you feel isolated. You know, if you have this new dream, you may not want to share it if people are telling you that they doubt you. Right? I think there's a question being put out quite bluntly about your work ethic. Here's the devil again in the upright. I think this is just setting you off. I think maybe this is setting off insecurities in you. Let's move this up. You know, I think your initial enthusiasm becomes very damped down when you talk to these loved ones. And it makes you shrink. It makes you feel very small. It may even make you feel childlike. You know, because there's nothing worse than talking to someone and feeling you're so amped up, you're feeling good about an idea, you bring it to someone, you're feeling change. And again, maybe you're a student and you met a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whomever. You know, everyone is welcome here. So whatever your orientation is, you've met this person and they turned you around, they have you excited and passionate about something, and you go to your family and you say, I'm changing my major, I don't want to be a doctor anymore, I want to be a marine biologist. Or you're a husband, a wife, or again, whomever, everyone is welcome here. And I want to do this project, I want to take on this business, and you're very excited, and then you go to your closest loved one and you tell them about it, and they maybe and perhaps with good intentions say, that's great, but remember that thing you did when you were 10 or when we were 20, and you just didn't really carry it all the way through. And it really, you know, and you are depending on this person for money or for half of your household. So you can't really turn around and yell and say, oh my God, you're just, you know, sort of pissing all over my parade. But Judgment coming up again. Let me just find a card here. I've talked about this before. Some of the imagery in the cards is just, I don't know how sensitive people are, and I certainly don't want to offend anyone with the imagery. It's nothing I think is inappropriate, but just for the sake of where we are. I mean, Judgment coming in again, I think you know this is the right choice. I think you know it will be successful. But I feel like when you talk to other people, it doesn't feel as good as when you think about it. And I think all of that good faith and that good energy goes away, and that just feels really bad, Gemini. That's what I think is happening. And we can check more into this in February about if you think this is a good venture, if that's what you're looking for. But I just, you know, think so. The tortoise is just what we talked about. You know, it's helpful criticism from them, but it's making you feel like you have to protect yourself. The anchor talks about feeling stuck, so I think, again, we just discussed that in the reading. I think you're just feeling stuck in terms of just talking about your new venture. Okay, let's take these. So these cards together talk to me about a slow journey, and about passion, but also about hurt. Also the scales, they talk about things hanging in the balance, or things being out of balance. And I think that is the overview of what this reading talked about. I think you're feeling so much passion about this new venture, but on the flip side of that, hurt that you can't share it with those closest to you. I think it's not going to feel like justice is being served. You can't do that, and instead of being able to come to those that you were closest with and get a congratulatory vibe, you feel like you're being stepped on for wanting to go outside of your comfort zone. But I think you'll have to just keep making that slow journey toward what you want. And hopefully, eventually, they will just come around. It's difficult, Gemini. It's difficult when you have people that, people are creatures of habit. They just, change is not, it's not easy for people. So let's get you one more card. Meditation brings answers. I know that Pisces had that, and let's do one more within the next few months. So, you know, hopefully within the next few months, let's pull one more because it wants to come out. Let go. So I would let go of the notion of acceptance from people. I would really sit and think about what this new journey means to you. And see by the spring what's happening for you, what is shifting for you, what doors are opening for you. And I think you'll see a change, something shifting in the energy. New things are coming up, things are moving. I hadn't mentioned it in any of the other readings, but Mercury will have some activity, I believe, next month in February. And you can see where that sits in your chart and how that affects you. And so there will be things moving in the next couple of months in terms of the planets, and hopefully that will shift something for you. Thank you so much for sitting with me for a while, Gemini. Take care.